at 6.
One man is dead and a father and son arrested following a deadly hit and run. We first told you about the crash last night at 11. Police say Joshua Darren Ellis hit a man simply trying to help someone in need. And then investigators believe he just drove off, never trying to help. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talked to people who say they caught it on camera.
80 Duke Fusen lived nearby the place on Kentucky Highway 92 East where a pressure washer had fallen out of a pickup. Police say a car fatally hit Fusen when he went out to the road to help.
A black four-door sedan was traveling east on Kentucky 92. That vehicle struck this individual, knocking him off the roadway.
Noah Mason says he was nearby and saw it happen. He says he did not expect what happened next.
I walked up there with my mom, and it was before police and everything arrived, and we was just looking for him and everything. I didn't even know they was looking for him, and somebody said he's dead.
Before the car drove away, security cameras recorded the two men and their car.
We replayed it, and we saw whatever happened, and we saw the car leave and stuff.
Thursday morning, a Kentucky State Police trooper saw a similar car in Bell County on Highway 119. Police questioned the two in the car, 34-year-old Joshua Darren Ellis and his 15-year-old son. Both were then charged in connection to the hit and run.
And we've been working around the clock to figure out exactly what vehicle this was and get maybe some closure for the family because, you know, as of last night, they didn't have any idea who done this.
Ellis was charged with failure to render aid, resulting in the death of Fusen. His son was charged with tampering with physical evidence. In Bell County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Ellis is being held at the Bell County Detention Center and his son is being taken to a juvenile detention center. We now know when a man indicted for murder in Floyd County will appear in court. Wesley Martin's arraignment in circuit court is set for April 16th. Police say he killed Jordan Tackett in February and then buried his body in his backyard. Investigators found Tackett's remains last week and arrested Martin. The grand jury indicted him yesterday. State police say someone found human remains in their yard last night. State police opened a death investigation. Investigators were called around 8:30 to a home on Harble Road in Pineville. Police sent the skull they found to the state medical examiner's office in Frankfort. There they hope to learn the identity and cause of death. A crowd of protesters gathered this evening outside the Whitley County School Board. They worry leaders might scale back the FFA program at Whitley County High School. Future Farmers of America is a vocational program that teaches students agricultural-based skills. WYMT's Justin Case is live with more. Justin.
Steve, right now I'm at the Whitley County Courthouse on the lawn here, but you're going to see right behind me there's a group of about 100 protesters all in their blue shirts out here showing support for FFA. Now, a lot of them stayed out here on the corner. A lot also went into that school board meeting, which just ended a few moments ago. But let me give you a little bit of context to this story. So currently there are 2 teachers that are a part of the FFA program at Whitley County High School. Now, many of the fears from these protesters comes from the fact that one of the instructors posted on Facebook suggesting that he might be retiring, something that could ultimately limit the amount of students who can participate in the program. Now, Superintendent John Seiler says the FFA program, it's not going anywhere, even if the instructor does retire. He says instead of filling the position with a new FFA instructor, he plans on adding a new career pathway for students, industrial maintenance. But students in the program say FFA has helped shape their lives. One girl I talked with who's a junior in the program says limiting FFA would be a mistake, considering how impactful it is.
My teachers have impacted me in so many ways. They've changed who I am as a person. They've opened me up. They've helped me come out of my shell. They've taught me so many different things. I hope that maybe one day I can do even a little part of what they've done for me. That's all I can hope to do.
Now, Steve, I did mention there were about 20 different FFA supporters, some current students, some former students who were inside that school board meeting. It was not on the agenda today, but we are told the superintendent did address the people supporting FFA inside the room. He said that program is not going anywhere, but they were hoping for a little bit more than that. They did not get that. We hope to talk with the superintendent here shortly, but we'll have much more on this story tonight at 11. Steve?
Justin, thank you. It appears a former Hazard doctor and his wife will stay in prison Ace Cheney was convicted on more than 150 charges that included improper prescribing and billing Medicare and Medicaid for unnecessary tests between March 2006 and October 2014. Cheney's wife Lisa was convicted with him. The two operated Ace Clinique of Medicine. Both were sentenced to several years in prison in 2017. They appealed based on 4 issues, including sufficiency of evidence and jury misconduct. The 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed the district court's judgment on everything today. Terrifying moments as a young Powell County student waited at his bus stop this morning. His aunt told police while he stood waiting for the bus, a man in a white van tried to abduct him. Luckily, the boy ran back to his home. Hillary Thornton talked to the boy's aunt.
It was a scary morning for one family living here along Airwood Drive in Stanton.
In this community, you don't mind just let your kids go on the bus at the driveway and you don't worry about them. But I'll rethink that now.
That change in mindset coming after her 8-year-old nephew was waiting for his school bus just outside of their house when he says a strange man pulled up in a van and asked him to get in the vehicle. The young boy instead running inside to tell his aunt.
My first thought was, he's a kid, you know, is this the truth?
Believing her nephew after she went outside and found the man still there.
The guy just kept telling me, don't call the law, don't call the law. I was just going to give him a ride. And I told him, you know, he don't need a ride. He's waiting on the school bus.
The family says they are just extremely thankful that their 8-year-old knew what to do. And they say he knew not to get in the van because of a conversation with his mom just about a week ago.
So she gave him the talk about the stranger danger and all that. And he did the right thing. Oh, he really did. And my nephew's not the type that really gets scared. And he usually don't meet a stranger, but like he knew.
She says it was an older model, 2-toned black and silver van with a scratch going across the passenger side door. She also believes the license plate might have been from out of state. She's hopeful others will be aware and talk to their children.
He could go to another city, another small town where they're not used to things like that, and he might be successful the next time.
In Powell County, Hillary Thornton, WYMT Mountain News.
If you have seen a van matching that description or have any information, you're asked to contact Stanton Police.
It was a beautiful day here in Pikeville for the 43rd annual Hillbilly Days Festival. Today was officially the first day, and we've been busy all day. And you'll notice really as we head into some of our cameras that the sunshine has really continued throughout the day. As we look at UVA-Y's camera, just a few clouds in the sky. Starting to see those partly cloudy skies now, and those clouds will continue to increase throughout the overnight hours. Satellite and radar shows a few of those clouds as well. Dry conditions though, and that continues at least through the overnight hours. Temperatures are anywhere from those low to mid 80s across our area, showing an 84 in Hazard, 80 here in Pikeville, 84 up into Prestonsburg. Those dew points into those mid 40s, upper 40s, so very, very dry air out here. So not feeling too muggy, just very warm. And as we continue into the evening, we'll continue to see that warming trend, and we'll also see rain chances move in tomorrow as a cold front moves through. We also have to talk about that weekend forecast where we see sunshine and we do see some rain. We'll talk about that and more coming up in just a few short minutes.
All right, thank you, Paige. Well, Hillbilly Days began way back in 1977, and decades later, it's still going strong. The festival brings in people from all across the country, even the world, to the mountains. And more importantly, it puts tens of thousands of dollars into the local economy. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher is also there live. Marianne?
Steve, many out-of-state vendors drive hundreds of miles away. But this is also a great opportunity to highlight some of the local vendors and some of the local crafters. I spoke to some who say Hillbilly Days is a great economy stimulator. Hillbilly Days is a huge moneymaker for the city.
It's fantastic for every small business in town because you got people coming from all over.
The 43rd annual Hillbilly Days Festival brings more than 100,000 people to Pikeville. Jacob Krager with Doling Barrels says that foot traffic brings in tons to local businesses.
You know, going up and down these streets and seeing local shops, but not only local, you see the bigger like Alltech.
And some of these vendors drive hundreds of miles.
Go on a nationwide tour, and I go from city to city and festival to festival doing my public art in front of the audiences.
Arcee is from Connecticut.
It's all 100% spray paint, and people, when they see it and they hear it's done with spray paint, they're like, oh my, I can't believe that. That's amazing.
He spends around 6 hours on each spray paint canvas.
I thought they wanted me to do hillbillies, but no, I'm doing notable, public figures from Pikeville.
On Saturday, he spray painted a mural of Dr. William C. Hambly.
So it's really going to educate the community around here.
He'll be back on Friday to work on another piece.
But spray paint just comes naturally to me, and it allows me to do these large-scale works for everybody to see.
Painting a portrait of the past. Steve, now like I said, many of those out-of-state vendors drive so far away, and honestly, in my opinion, I would say that it is totally worth it. Now, we'll be back here tomorrow, live all day from Hillbilly Days. I'll see you then.
All right, Marianne, thank you very much. Artists and crafters have turned out for this year's Hillbilly Days Festival in downtown Pikeville. Booths currently line the bottom floor of the Pikeville parking garage, where crafty minds have their creations on display. Jewelry, clothing, homemade sauces, and more are available to buy. Some vendors are from outside of the region, but some, like the artists in the Culture of Recovery project at the Appalachian Artisan Center's booth, are showing up to help out people here in the region.
We're here at Hillbilly Days to give the participants from the Knott County Drug Court a chance to experience what it's like to do an entrepreneurial activity in art. So if you decide to make this a career, what is that like for you as an artist? And that just get to experience what it's actually like in the field.
Kimberly Patton, potter at Culture of Recovery, said art has become her peaceful place, and selling her pieces has made her feel like a true artist. The Culture of Recovery booth and other craft booths are open in the bottom of the parking garage through Saturday. Well, Jenny Wiley Theater there in downtown Pikeville is getting a new name. City officials approved that last night. It will now be called Appalachian Center for the Arts. The News Express first reported the change this afternoon. City Manager Philip Ellswick says the lease for the center with the Expo Center Corporation is for $1 per year. An independent film telling the story of Appalachian coal miners trapped underground after a methane explosion opens this weekend. The film, directed, written, and produced by Eddie Mensor, centers around 9 miners with only a 1-hour supply of oxygen and their struggle to escape alive. The thriller is opening on limited screens but will be shown in several theaters across eastern Kentucky. Ones we know of include Hazard, Pikeville, and Benham.
And we are seeing beautiful weather here in Pikeville. Will that continue throughout the rest of your Hillbilly Days? Well, I'll have that full forecast coming up for you just a few short minutes.
And high school can be a difficult time, especially if you're a young woman. Just ahead, hear how Post-it notes are leaving a positive impression on some girls.